basically Soviet, post-apocalyptic, dystopian, abandoned hellhole full of guns and homes to loot. And you and 99 strangers are jumping off of a burning plane right into it. Your parachute will ensure the fall doesn't kill you, but once you're down there, it's you against the island. 99 strangers are on the hunt for you and each other. Every single one of them wants to be the last one standing. Every single one of them wants to win. They loot homes as soon as they land, hunting for weapons and armor, scrounging the map to find anything that could be of use, looking down your sights as you open the door and a guy with a shotgun blasts you. First came the original teen deathmatch island battle royale. The Japanese book and movie told the story of 42 students dropped on a deserted island and forced to kill each other until only one was left.
周囲は10キロぐらいで、住民の人には出て行ってもらって誰もいません。
It got not released in the West for years, leaving it an obscure cult classic. Then, years later, Hunger Games came around, and it reignited the fire. People wanted battle royale games, but no one was making them. But one person wanted it more. Years later, he was divorced and looking to get his life back on track. He made it back home to Ireland, and while living on welfare, and Kim's team had the autonomy to create the game that they wanted, and they wanted it to be playable within 1 year. The game. Green and Kim wanted to get the game in customers' hands fast for a low cost and keep improving it over time. But the foundation needed to be laid down before anything else. The team made a small game. One map, one mode, a handful of weapons were added after the launch, but from the day it was released on early access in March 2017 to today, Battlegrounds has been the same game. However, when it first came out, there wasn't quite anything like it. Sure, Green's mods were still out there, but mods are never quite as popular as standalone games. Battlegrounds was a breath of fresh air amidst the high-budget, lavishly produced shooters on the market. It was messy. It was tense. And it was complicated, but most importantly, it was fun. The island is the most important part too. While Green has said that his team is working on more maps, ERANGL will always be the most iconic thing about Battlegrounds. It's the game's main character, with familiar landmarks, wide open spaces, and bizarre, unique topography. It's not realistic. Swamps, farmland, mountains, and towns all mingle together to make a backdrop that has much of a hand in the action as the players do. And the players came to Battlegrounds fast. For only $20, they got to live the fantasy of surviving the apocalypse. The game's player base grew every week. 10 million rounds of Battlegrounds were played in the game's first 4 months, and it made $11 million in 3 days. By April, it had sold 1 million copies. 1 month later, it was at 2 million. The next month, it hit 4 million. In August, Battlegrounds became the most played game on Steam in terms of concurrent players. By September, it had beaten Dota 2's record of 1.29 million concurrent players. Invitational tournament.
I killed him. Let's go, baby! Woo!
3 months later, ESL held the first major Battlegrounds tournament, cementing a possible esports future for the game. Green told GamesIndustry.biz that he has always envisioned his mods to be a spectator sport someday, and his baby was finally taking its first steps. People still ask if Battlegrounds can be an esport. It has the audience and the player base. The only problem is the logistics. Gathering 100 people for a LAN tournament is not the easiest thing in the world, which might limit it to events like ESL 1s and DreamHacks. But esports is not the only place Battlegrounds is growing. The game is selling more and more copies by the day, and even bigger companies are soon. And with imitators starting to crop up, that just gives Battlegrounds more chances to innovate and be better than the competition. Battlegrounds is the beginning of a new video game genre, and no one saw it coming.
Late nights, long fights, it felt right, we were alive, we would go out, we were so loud.